What's up, everybody? I'm former quarterback Malik Rosier, and if football, sports interviews, and having a good time interests you, then make sure to click the like and subscribe button as it really does help support this channel, and it also makes sure that you guys never miss a new video. So, all right, guys, when you guys log in to poolhost.com, you guys will get a link from either myself or Bubba. The way that it's going to work, it's going to ask you for your username and password. Once you guys create it, just go ahead and log in, okay? Make sure that you guys, whenever you guys log in, it's going to ask you to join the kingmakers pool. Make sure that you join that. Once you guys get there, if it takes you to the home screen, all you're going to want to do is go down here where it says pick them on the pools, click kingmakers, okay? So don't worry about these ads. Just go ahead and exit out of them. They go right away. So, all right, guys, once you guys go ahead and click this, you'll see kind of here in the middle of the right, it says manager message. So this is the point of kind of the bracket. So this bracket was put together by Bubba and Kingmakers. And Bubba, I want you to go ahead and just tell them what you guys are offering for first place for this bracket.
Yeah, for this bracket and this prize, we're offering and we're partnering with Malik and his NFT Miami Millionaires Club. But personally, on the Kingmaker side, we're offering a signed jersey by me myself, and then you can also get a signed jersey from Tate Martell. And whoever wins that, obviously, we'll ship it to you guys, however you guys are. If you are in Tampa, you guys can come to Kingmakers and pick it up you guys yourself. But that's the prize that we're giving out. And then obviously, as Kingmakers members, the first place overall will get 50% off on the first 3 months becoming a member at Kingmakers at the start of the year. So go pick now and try to win, you know?
And the last thing, before I switch over to my Millionaires Club, can you kind of just give us a brief explanation of what Kingmakers is for the people that don't know
Yeah,
or
so
haven't heard of Kingmakers?
yeah, Kingmakers is a private shared workspace where we just want to bring like-minded people together to be able to give them an opportunity to build and create a business plan. Me personally, playing football, and then also, getting into this business world, I was given the opportunity by Mike Murphy to come and create with him, and we built out Kingmakers. So I want to give that opportunity to other people, players, athletes, that there's another avenue to life, and we want to be able to give it to them. So we have equity members, 20 equity members that will be able to invest into your small businesses. And we just want to create and grow and give everyone that opportunity and see everybody shine. So that's the basics of Kingmaker. So like I said, go pick your picks. Hopefully whoever wins, you guys can stop by. If not, you guys will get a signed jersey by me and Tate Martell. All love.
Perfect. And then for my side, if you are a non-Kingmakers member, and let's say you guys are into NFTs, we do have an NFT collection called Miami Millionaires Club. Normally, they go for $100. If you get first place, you're not a Kingmakers member, we're actually going to send you that over. At the end of the video, I'm actually going to go ahead and put together a snippet of how to download the Solana and how NFTs work and kind of what they are. So in case you guys don't understand how everything works, where I'm going to have a personal video for you guys at the very end, just in case you're the winner, you're trying to understand. If you guys are also interested, I would go ahead and just download. It's called Phantom, so Phantom. It's called a Phantom wallet. That's how the Solana blockchains kind of work for the NFT side. So go ahead and download the Phantom app. It's on your phone. You can even do it on your browser. But download that, as that's the first step into starting. What you're going to want to do from there is go to picks. Okay, so there's all these like tools and different things. Make sure to go to picks right here, and there's a tab at the top that says make/change picks. And then from there, what we're going to go ahead and do is now it allows us to kind of pick our picks. Okay, so you'll go ahead and be able to do it. Once you pick it, you'll go at the bottom and you'll hit your save pick. So make sure that you guys take your time, pick your picks. There are 32. Me and Bubba are probably not going to go through all 32 of them. We'll pick between today and tomorrow to kind of go through them. But for the most part, we're going to hit the big games today, and then fill out the smaller games a little later on. So super excited for this. And I know the first one that we'll start with will be at the top left. So it's the Birmingham Bowl, which is in 3 days at 12. It's Duke versus Troy. I think that obviously I played for or played with Manny Diaz. He was a defensive coordinator. But I definitely know that, Bubba has a lot more insight, as, he was a safety for him. He played there not only when he was a DC, but also a head coach as well. And for me, going to Duke, they definitely have some talent. I know that, Duke lost their quarterback. Troy lost their head coach. Their head coach is going to Tulane. So two teams with new head coaches. And I'll let you pick this one, Bubba. Who do you think that you have winning out of Duke and Troy, and why?
Yeah, I mean, I got Duke winning it. I'm not gonna lie to you. ACC team. I feel pretty confident in this. Even though they lost their head coach, they lost their quarterback. I still think that the rest of the team has a lot, to give to this game, and it's supposed to translate to next season. You know what I mean? So I don't know if Diaz is coaching this game or not. I don't think he is.
Yeah, I think he is. I don't know how much he'll be coaching, but I at least think
Yeah,
he'll be around usually when new coaches come on, because I've kind of been there whenever they went from Mark Richt to my bad, Al Golden to Mark Richt. Usually
yeah,
when a head coach leaves, unless he brings their DC or OC, usually that's their last game. So they'll be able to at least coach those kids up, because it's really hard, to install in a couple weeks a brand
exactly.
new offense. So a lot of times you keep at least the old staff. So they'll always have the same game plan, but I think it will definitely be interesting to see what they do. And the good news is, at least for here, this is spread. So technically right now we're saying, hey, Duke is +7. So I definitely agree with that. I like a lot of stuff that Duke does. I think that they play good defense. They play sound defense. Obviously, Coach Feely, that was at Duke. His strength and his strength and strength and
Conditioning.
conditioning program is
It goes a long
very
way.
unique. I know that definitely helps you guys. So
It
I'm
goes a
gonna
long
go
way.
with Duke as well. We're definitely gonna lock Duke in at +7 over Troy. All right, the next one that I want to get to, and we'll go right here just because it's your city. I see them. December 26th, the Guarantee Rate Bowl. You got UNLV versus Kansas. Kansas is
Yeah.
-11.5. I'll let you talk about this one, if that's
No, I mean UNLV, they came out hot this season. Off the rip, they were just lighting it up, and this is like something that's very surprising to UNLV and to the city of Las Vegas. Obviously, they had a rough. What was that? The Mountain West game, the championship game. It was a little bit rough. They were in it for a little bit, and it just got taken away. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got Kansas this game. I'm sorry. I love my city. I love my city, but I got Kansas. Do you know if Kansas quarterback is still there, right?
I think he's still there. Yeah, Jane
He's still
Daniels. Well, I
there.
kind of
Yeah.
like him too.
No, yeah, he's the real deal. He's serious.
He's
So
good.
I got Kansas. My bad, UNLV. My bad to the city, man. But
Yeah, I got Kansas too, man. I like UNLV.
yeah,
I just think that Kansas is going to score points. I think that UNLV will score, but I think that late Kansas will kind of run away between their run game and really their quarterback, his ability to make plays. I agree with that one.
yeah,
So let's
definitely.
go down right below it, the Duke Mayo Bowl. I think that one's I think that's the one they actually have mayonnaise at the bowl game, which is kind of weird. I'm not a big mayonnaise fan, to be honest with you.
Nah.
But it's West Virginia, basically -3 versus North Carolina. I know North Carolina does not have Drake May. I do not know if they have that receiver that transferred over. I haven't heard anything about him. I know at least for North Carolina, they lost their quarterback. West Virginia, they
Yeah.
have their guy. He's really scrappy. He's actually a QB country quarterback. And I think gives a lot of people problems. So I'll pick first. I got this one as probably a lower scoring game, but I have West Virginia. I don't know if they cover the spread, but at least give them the win. I would say they probably beat them somewhere between 3 and 5. I do know North Carolina has some talent. They have some young guys that have been highly recruited. And to be honest with you, Mac Brown is not someone that usually lays down during bowl game season. So
Yeah,
I'm
no.
going to go ahead and I'm going to take West Virginia, but I think it's going to be a very, very close game.
Yeah. I mean, on that one, I would it's 50-50 with me, but I'll go West Virginia with you on that one.
Okay, like that one. All right, next, I'll let you want to talk about this one. A Holiday Bowl, Wednesday, December 27th, USC versus Louisville. So you got your old squad versus an ACC team. Louisville -7.5. Who you got?
Man, so to get into this one, USC, obviously, there's no Caleb Williams. And then I just seen their freshman quarterback just enter the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, I like the other kid they got. What is it, Miller Moss?
yeah,
He's not bad. He's not bad.
no,
I mean,
he's nice
he's
too. He's
definitely
nice too.
Caleb Williams, but he's not bad at all.
But they got a lot of people that just entered that portal.
I
So
did see that.
it's a lot of
Because
people.
there's a lot of skill players like defensive backs. There's the one that I tagged you in.
Yeah,
There's
the corner.
I know
Yeah,
they lost a receiver or two, so they're
they
definitely
lost
down.
some edge rushers, some linebackers. So SC, that's my old school, but I got Louisville on this one. Shout out to GB. Shout out to my guys over there at Louisville. I got Louisville coming away with this one.
Yeah, I got Louisville too. I think they're going to play hard again. We've kind of seen it. USC has struggled with stopping people from scoring. Louisville
Yeah, the
does a good
defense is
job. They have
horrible.
one of the top defenses in the ACC.
Yeah.
They play really creative football, so they're not going to beat you with like athletes. They have athletes, but even when you watch when they played us, they were very smart. Guys were just basically wide ass open, running down the sideline or running into flats.
Yeah, what it
And
really
so I
is
think
just straight crossing routes.
that's all crossing and flat routes. That's
And
it.
flat
But
routes.
they
That's
do a
it.
good
And they
job
will
running the ball, so it gets guys out of position. You know what I mean?
exactly.
So
And they would tear you. They would pick you apart. I mean, we've seen it
yeah.
happen
So
with us
I agree with you. I
every
like
year.
Louisville. I definitely like
Yeah.
Louisville. All
Louisville
right,
for
we'll skip
sure.
over some of these. We'll go down here to the Pinstripe Bowl. We got Miami versus Rutgers. Miami is -3.5. Obviously, we know Tyler Van Dyke is gone. Jakari Brown is in. We know Emery's down. So even if anything happens, there's no way that any other quarterback's really going in besides a walk-on. So I pray for a lot of health, for Jakari throughout this game. But give me your thoughts, Miami versus Rutgers.
I mean, I know on the defensive side we're going to be missing some star players, but I'm gonna go with Miami all day, regardless of anything. I think Jakari's going to come into this game, and I think he's going to have a standout game. I think he's going to be lights out, running the ball, passing the ball, and I think they'll allow him to go out there and see what he can do. Honestly, I think because right now we don't know if we're going to get Cam Ward or who we're getting at Miami, so I think they're going to expand his playbook and allow him to go out there and be who he is. You know what I mean? So I think he's going to take over the game. I think Restrepo will have a big game. Obviously, the freshman running back, and then Jacoby George. What a guy he is. You know what I mean? So, and then on the defensive side, Bain is all I got to say. That's all I got to say right there. I think he will single-handedly disrupt that whole line and cause havoc. So I got Miami winning.
Yeah, I do too. I think the biggest thing is in my keys to the game is really going to be one, especially on the offensive side, getting Jakari comfortable. I think that he's definitely going to be explosive with his legs, but making sure that you get him in a rhythm, but that you're not so vanilla that you're just running like hitches and slants.
Exactly.
So kind of like you said, expanding the offense, making sure that you kind of see what you have. Because again, we don't know who our quarterback's going to be for next year. It could be Cam Ward, it could be Jakari, it could be Emir Williams, it could be KJ Jefferson for all we know. Like we really don't know who the QB is, but this is his kind of chance to shine. So I think that, and I think also for him is just kind of doing his job. Obviously, he's a very athletic kid. The quarterback for Rutgers is a very, very athletic guy as well. They have a really good run game. So when he watches, Gavin Wimsatt make plays with his legs, roll out, make plays with his arms. My biggest thing is kind of Jakari saying, hey, I have a good team around me. I don't have to be kind of what Gavin is for his team because Rutgers has talent, but if you stack talent for talent, they're not like Miami, you know what I mean? Yeah. So he doesn't have, 2 or 3 guys that are the top in the ACC or even his conference in receiving yards. He doesn't have one of the best offensive line, even though, yes, we're losing our center. We still got a damn good offensive line around him. And I know we're losing Cohen as well, but it's like there's a lot of pieces that he's missing that Jakari isn't. So to me, if Jakari can just play within himself, play good football, and have minimum turnovers, I definitely see us beating them probably like 10-14, to be honest with you. I don't think that they'll put up a lot of points, especially if offensive we can score early.
Yeah.
You know how it is, Bubba. The offense scores early, start putting up some points, it energizes the defense, especially if you have the defense that you played on or that this defense that is a very good one. It definitely energizes them. So I think him being able to create sparks to help the defense out is also going to be very crucial in this game.
Right, definitely.
So we'll go ahead and mark. So we gotta go back. We picked West Virginia, Louisville, Miami.
We got Kansas.
Any other games? Kansas. All right, we got to keep going. All right, next one we'll do because, and I like this one just because I know some of the guys on the staff. But we'll go the Alamo Bowl, Oklahoma, who is legitimately in shambles right now. And they lost Dylan Gabriel. They lost their starting. I'm pretty sure they lost 4 or 5 of their starting offensive linemen. I know they're I'm pretty sure All-American or I know for sure starting freshman. He's in the portal. And you have Arizona, a team that's been clicking a lot of ways. I don't know if you know about Jetfish, but Jetfish was at Miami prior to Coley. Very, very NFL-style offense. There's a lot of stuff to put people in conflict. I'll go and get my answer. I definitely got Arizona. I got Arizona probably beating them by +7. I don't even know if Oklahoma is going to score over 20 points versus Arizona. And I think Arizona is going to put up easily 30, 35 points. So I'm definitely taking Arizona.
I got Arizona. I got Arizona all day. I know the receiver number 4 was All-American this year. Freshman quarterback came in, I think maybe week 3 and just completely took off. Just throwing for over 400 yards, multiple games. I just think that whole Arizona team on both sides, they click and they just make things happen. I think Arizona will be a big team going into next year, but I think this will be the game to really boost them and get them to that next level. So I got Arizona by a mile, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know how much you saw about the head coach for Oklahoma kind of throwing shade on Mario Cristobal at the beginning of the year. So anytime I get to see Oklahoma absolutely get smoked, it's always a good day for me. So
Yeah, he was a good DC at Clemson, but you got to translate that to being a head coach, and it's not that easy to be doing that. So obviously Arizona by a mile. Don't throw shade at Miami.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think that's one thing that, and I know you're know him personally, but I think that's one thing that Manny definitely learned. And to me, I think that's the thing I kind of want to see at Duke is, okay, the mistakes that he had at Miami, can he fix them, and can he, help Duke become successful? Because obviously we see what Mike Elko done, so at least that the blueprint can be done. It's can you do it? So
Yeah,
I agree too.
exactly.
We're going to take Arizona.
Yeah.
The next we'll go Gator Bowl Friday, December 29th, Kentucky versus Clemson. They got Clemson -7. That's a good one.
That's a tough one. Is everyone on Clemson playing? Do you know?
I think so. Yeah, I didn't really hear about
Is
any
little
big name
Shipley
players.
playing? Shipley, the
Maybe the
running back?
defensive back, the first round that they had, maybe he doesn't play, but I haven't heard much about him not playing. I think I'm gonna take Clemson just because Kentucky's offense has been struggling. I think that Kentucky has a ton of transfer guys. If you look at like the transfer guys they're getting and a lot of the young guys,
Yeah.
they have a ton of talent. But I just think that Clemson has some older pieces and some people on the defensive side that'll really, really slow down Kentucky's offense. And I don't know how much Kentucky can slow down Clemson. So I'm going to take Clemson -7.
I got you. I think I'll go the same. If you know that, then I don't know either about. I mean, I know Clemson was losing a lot this year, but I don't really know a whole lot about Kentucky. So I guess I'll go ACC with it.
Perfect. See, I really want to do the Sun Bowl, Notre Dame versus Oregon State, but I mean that one's to me is real easy. You got to go Notre Dame. I'll go ahead and click this one.
Yeah.
The big one is Oregon State lost their head coach. They lost. I'm pretty sure they lost 2 or 3 of their quarterbacks. They lost 2 of their tight ends. They lost their running back. I'm pretty sure, maybe not. I mean, they lost a ton. That's on the offensive side. Obviously, Notre Dame.
The defense side, I know they had some top dogs on defense that I think
left
they're
too.
going
Yeah,
to the league. So
definitely taking Notre Dame.
I'll go Notre Dame.
I think Oregon State's gonna have a tough time really scoring versus them.
Yeah.
So we'll go straight down Cotton Bowl, Ohio State, Missouri. Missouri's +2.
That's going to be a little bit weird, but at the same time, I think Ohio State has too much structure. I think they just know how to win as a whole program. Obviously, Missouri, I don't know what their pieces are. I know that Blake Baker is over there, who used to be my old DC at Miami, one of the top defenses. I think it's going to be a good game. But at the end of the day, I think I'm going to go with Ohio State coming away with that win. I think they just, like I said, they have too much structure. They just have a winning aura about them. And I think they'll pull it out somehow, some way, even without Marvin Harrison and without having a quarterback. So,
yeah. I'm going with Missouri. I've watched them a lot. I know they have Willis George, a guy that played at Miami, defensive lineman.
Yeah.
To me, when you watch them play defensively, they definitely have holes, but they play hard. I think Ohio State will too. I just don't know. I mean, they've definitely seen it in practice, but I don't know if they've seen a receiver like Luther Burden. I think Marvin Harrison is probably the closest thing they've seen. But Luther Burden is an absolute monster. He's like a Malik Neighbors. This guy would completely take over a game, have 150 yards receiving. And I think when you talk about Ohio State kind of being pissed off, they lost to Michigan. So now they're out of the Big Ten and the national championship spotlight. You lose your best receiver that made all your plays, and now you're starting quarterback that kind of runs all the plays. I think that Ohio State will look functional, but I don't think that they'll have the chance to compete versus Missouri because I think there's too many important parts that help them be successful during the year that are missing. So I'm definitely taking Missouri +2.
I feel that.
I like that though. This is a little different. All right, we'll go over.
It really
it's hard.
Piggyback back on that one. I just know that Ohio State's defense. I know they got some top.
Oh, they play good. No, they play great defense.
Yeah,
but you gotta know how it is though, man. You're in a bowl game, and
I don't know if they're even playing in the
a
bowl
team,
game
and your offense can't score. It's hard, man. It's hard to stay positive because like during a bowl game, like you want to have fun, you want to just go out there, fly, hit people, and score. And when the offense is sputtering, I just think Ohio State's going to have a very tough time getting an offense. Like, I don't know if Ibuka's playing. I don't know if he's playing. I know Julian Fleming's in the portal. Like, they have some important pieces and even young pieces that just won't be playing for them. So I think it's going to be very hard. I think defensively, you're right. They'll definitely get some stops.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they'll be able to score. And I think it's very hard for them to lock down Luther Burden for an entire game.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
So we'll go Peach Bowl, Penn State, Ole Miss. Ole Miss is +4.
I mean, no many Diaz on the defensive side. I think the defense will still remain the same. I don't know if all their players are going to play, but I know that defense is the real deal. Manny Diaz has proven himself as one of the best defensive coordinators for a very long time. So I think that defense will remain the same. I don't know too much on the offensive side with them. I don't know who they're missing, if everyone's playing in it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go Penn State on this one. I think that's the easy one to
okay.
pick.
So I'm going opposite. I'm going Ole Miss.
Jackson Dart.
I have to, man. And we'll pin this one for Penn State because we pinned the last one, Missouri. I got Ole Miss just because I really like Lane. I like their quarterback, Jackson Dart. They have a good defense. I think Ole Miss definitely be a lot better next year than this year. I mean, they have some of the top defensive portal guys, even some of the top offensive guys that are, if not interested, already committed to Ole Miss. But I think when you talk about again, I know you don't watch much Penn State, but their quarterback has struggled, especially on the road. I don't know if they played an SEC team this year, but I know versus any decent defense, he has definitely struggled with the pass game. And I don't see Penn State they have good running backs, but I don't see them just taking over completely on the run game versus Ole Miss. But it will be interesting. I can definitely see if Penn State can run the ball, they can definitely pull away with it. But I see it being a close, low-scoring game, and I see Ole Miss
for sure.
coming away late. Yeah, but I think it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very low-scoring for sure, I think.
Yeah, Drew Allaire is really good. They just kind of handicap him because they have really good running backs, and then he struggles some. So when they haven't handicapped him, he's kind of, I don't know if I can cuss, but I got to figure it out. But he's kind of shit the sheets every time he's had a chance to open up, and they just kind of bailed him out with the run game. So I think it could be interesting. All right, I mean, Florida State, Georgia. I mean, this one's just going to be just terrible. I'm going Georgia. I mean, even if the spread was like 20-21, I'd probably take Georgia too. Florida State just too many missing pieces. I think internally they're falling apart. I know they signed a really good class, but I mean, Trey Benson's gone. Jared Vars is gone. They have another defensive lineman that's gone. Obviously, George Travis is out.
Some of their corners are gone. So
yeah, there's a bunch of pieces for them missing. Georgia's they're holding tight for the most part. I know Carson Beck's coming back, so at least have their quarterback. I mean, they're going to score. They're going to put up points. A lot of the guys like Lab McConkey and the guys that are making plays, they're going to stay. Brock's going to be there. So I just don't see Florida State putting up above 14 to maybe 18 points, maybe 17. That's kind of where I have them. I have Georgia scoring in the 30s, so I definitely take Georgia over Florida State.
Yeah, Georgia by a mile.
Good. All right, we'll go down. The last two that we'll do is we'll do the two semifinals. So we have the Rose Bowl. We have Michigan versus Alabama. Right now they have Alabama +1.5.
Crazy.
I agree. I mean, I have Bama. I think Bama beats them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Bama. I think Michigan they're not going to be ready. I think it's more so a persona look. You know what I mean? I think Alabama just holds too much weight. I think Alabama will scare them, just them walking onto the field. I don't know if everyone's seen the reaction Michigan got when they were playing Alabama, but they looked like they were scared. Like, damn, this is going to be a tough one. It's not going to be an easy walk through the park. You know what I mean? So I got Alabama, and I think it'll be by at least 14 points. I'm not gonna lie to you.
14's big. I got it by like 5. I think that Michigan plays a good defense. I think that they'll also do a good job, especially if Bama goes up on them. I think they're going to revert their mindset back to let's control the clock and let's not let this game get ugly.
No, they could try to run the ball. I think that run game is going to get completely shut down. Yeah. And I don't think McCaffrey or whatever his name is can really get the job done. This is going to show a lot
and
of
I think he's
guys.
going to be a key part. But the one thing I'll say about McCaffrey is at least McCaffrey hasn't shown you that he can be an elite passer, but I think that he does a great job of managing the game. But also,
No, yeah,
one thing
he's
he
very
does really
poised.
well, and I think it's
Yeah.
underappreciated by a lot of Michigan, or by fans in general. It's his ability to run. I mean, we've
Yeah.
seen quarterbacks that when they start to run, like Johnny Manziel, obviously he's not as dynamic, but he can definitely move. So I think that, you know, if he can make some plays on third down with his legs and obviously have a couple clutch passes, I can see them being in this game because they're going to have a decent run game. I mean, they have some big guys up front. They have two really, really good backs that are going to do some damage. I don't think they're going to run for like 200 plus, but I can definitely see him in the 150, 170 range. But I think you're right. I think JJ McCarthy is kind of that, you know, question mark. And I definitely like what Alabama does offensively. I think that Jalen Milroe is finally catching, you know, his kind of groove. You know, even versus Alabama, the big thing I saw at least was that, you know, he never held his head down. He never felt like, you know, they were out of that game. And that's big because, I mean, I've seen Iron Bowls go left and right crazy real quick.
Crazy.
And so, you know, for them to beat Auburn and come back and obviously beat Georgia the way they did in the SEC championship game, to me, I think that, you know, Alabama definitely beats Michigan.
Yeah.
And the last one, we'll go Washington, Texas. So Texas is -4.5, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. I got Washington winning this game. I think Michael Penix is an unbelievable talent. I think he's going to control this whole game. Whether he's passing the ball or running the ball, and I know he's pass first. I don't think no one on Texas defense can stop Rome Odunze. Vegas guy, Bishop Gorman guy. So you know I'm gonna go for them all day, every day. And I think Washington defense they're all right. They had a little bit of struggles this past game, but I don't know if Texas could really hang on to this. I think they got some juice built up, some fire built up. I think Penix, you know, not winning that Heisman, he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder to get the job done. And then Rome on his side of not winning the Blitnikoff, they gonna want to get at it, you know. So I got Washington winning this game. I think it will be a good game though. So.
Yeah, I agree. I don't necessarily know if Washington wins. I think that there's a lot of things that I like about Texas overall, but I definitely think -4.5 is a bit much. I think Texas comes away with like a last-minute field goal. I definitely see this being a shootout. But I think Texas plays a little bit better defense than Washington. I think Washington will get some stops, of course.
Yeah.
But I think there'll be some times where like Texas might be up by maybe a field goal or something, and Washington needs to score to gain momentum, and they're going to get a clutch stop. So I think Texas could win by a point, but I definitely think Washington at least covers the 4.5, 4.5 for sure.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so you got Alabama versus Washington.
I got
So
Alabama
for
versus Washington.
who do you have winning the national championship?
I got Washington winning the national championship.
All right.
And it sounds crazy, but when this happens, I don't want no one coming to me. Oh, nah, because I know everyone's gonna go Alabama, or you're gonna go.
That's what I got. I got Alabama winning.
You're gonna go Alabama. You're gonna go Michigan. You're gonna go. No, I got Washington winning this. The West Coast is the best coast besides Miami. Yeah, Washington all day. Go Dogs.
We'll leave this one on, but I'm definitely going with Alabama. I think betting against Nick Saban is almost like betting against Tom Brady. You just don't do it. That's just how I feel, man. There's just certain people I don't bet against, and he's one of them. So if they make it to the Natty, I think he's been there long enough. And I mean, you kind of know when you've done something over and over again, especially as a coaching staff like Nick, that program, it's kind of like you're used to being. And I think that might be the biggest difference is just, you know, how they prep, the focus they have, because Nick's done this over and over again. And I definitely think that if you got Alabama versus Washington, which I think will be the college football playoffs, I think Alabama sneaks by again. I really like Jalen Milroe. I think that Penix will make plays, but I don't think that Washington has seen a defense like Alabama. Maybe Texas, they get past Texas. Texas will have the same athletes. I mean, you can put Oregon in there. But, yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. So, like, you talking about, to me, when you talk about size up front, athletes across the board, Texas will have similar athletes in Alabama. So those will be the only two teams that, you know, has athletes. And they played Oregon. I think Oregon has some good athletes. But they, you know, it wasn't like kind of like the SEC where you're playing, you know, great defense after great defense. You're going from LSU. I mean, LSU kind of tough, but you go from like A&M to Auburn to Alabama to Ole Miss, like you're going 5, 6, 7 really good defenses in a
Yeah,
row,
but
Missouri. So I think it's a lot
Washington,
different.
Washington up front is serious on that defensive
Oh
side.
no, they're great up front,
They're
which is
serious
why
up
I think
front. That's going to be the deciding factor. It's going to be that front seven that decides that whole game, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean
And
that's been established for a long time. I mean that's why the SEC has
yeah,
been winning national championships. You like, and I've always said this. Like even at Miami, like Miami's always had skill guys. We've always had like Philip Dorsett, Stacey Coley, Amon Richards, Mark Walton, DJ Dallas. I mean I can go on and on with our skill guys,
yeah,
but we haven't had it where it's like now where there's like 4 to 5 guys that are going to get drafted, whether they're graduating now or graduating in the future, and the guys behind them that are younger will probably get drafted as well. Like we haven't had it where it's just like every guy should be at least top 5 rounds in their respective position, or at least top
yeah,
5 to 10, unless like, that's a lot different. That's kind of where when I was at Georgia, that was the biggest difference. Like when you look at the offensive line, you talking about like the entire starting line are 4 stars and some of them 5, and then the whole backups are 4 and 5 stars. And some of the backups were bigger than the starters. And it's like, dude, you're 18 years old and you're 6'6", 320 pounds. Like, what did your mom feed you? And like Miami didn't have that. We had that maybe in 1 or 2 spots, but we didn't have it too deep. Now you look at Miami's offensive line, especially what I look at, they're too deep. 6'6", 6'5", 6'7". I know we got some 6'8" kids. And so you talk about winning up front, you're definitely right. Whichever team, I mean, out of all 4, whichever team can win up front is going to be the team that winds up winning the Natty.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm going to go ahead and save this. So it's saved for us. We entered 13 picks, so we'll at least leave it here. We're going to go back probably tomorrow and finish filling this out.